Hi there. Do you live or even work in a rural area in Kenya or even anywhere in the world? In this video, I want to discuss with you 5 business ideas which you can start in whichever rural place in this world. And I'm saying so because, guys, rural areas are quite different compared to urban areas in whichever country we're talking about worldwide. Because rural areas have very different enablers compared to urban centers. That's why I'm making this video about 5 unique business ideas you could look to use to jump into and make money in case you are domiciled in a rural area out there. You might be wondering, why should you be able to jump on any business idea out there in case your life is okay? Yes, you could be undertaking a traditional business out there, or even so, you could be having employment and you live in a rural area. That's awesome of you. You have a way of making day-to-day living. But you also need to understand that, guys, the economy is getting tough and tough each and every day. And we're talking about, for example, the government struggling to pay interest rates out there. We're talking about the government out there continuing to tax people more and more. And with that, it tells you that over time, they're going to be continuing strain with regards to incomes out there. More so because the government is going to continue tapping into your income sources as a form of tax. And also need to understand that actually out there, also we're having more and more economic pressures. Because think about it, the cost of everything is increasing. Standard of living out here are increasing. School fees are increasing. Cost of medicines are increasing and so forth. That tells you you need to also think about earning more and more money for you to be able to continue leading the normal standard of life. And that's why these awesome business ideas could come in handy, whether as your main business idea or even as a side hustle for you to be able to make money, more so in case you're living in rural area, right? And I'm saying so because traditionally, more so in Africa, people living in rural areas have mainly focused in traditional farming for them to be able to make money. To give you an example, maybe someone out there plants maize, maybe someone out there plants sugarcane, and then they wait for, talk about even over 1.5 years for them to be able to realize return on their investment. People don't have to wait for that long. They could think of other ways of making money. That's why I'm making this video to share with you these 5 ideas you could look to jump into for you to be able to make money right from your rural home or even while you work in a rural area. And with that, the first business idea is you utilizing modern farming. I haven't really specified any particular kind of farming because, guys, we have different types of modern farming, offsets of traditional farming. For example, fish farming, for example, chicken farming, for example, modern dairy farming, for example, mushroom farming, you name it. There is different ways of modern farming across different crops or even different areas of interest. Like, for example, chicken farming, through which someone could be rearing poultry, different forms of poultry out there, whether it is chicken for laying eggs or even for chicken meat over time. It depends with what you're looking for. Even mushroom farming, we have different types of mushrooms out there. For example, oyster mushrooms and many more different types of mushrooms out there. You could have a controlled environment through which you are doing mushroom farming. Even talking about fish farming, we have different types of fish out there, whether it is tilapia, Nile perch, you name it. We have different types of fish out there, catfish, you name it, which actually also have good value in the market. You could have fish ponds through which you can also evoke this different kind of farming and then be able to make money. One thing I need to say is that actually, guys, this won't be free of charge. You need to have money. It could run into tens of thousands. It could run into hundreds of thousands. And even so, for some huge undertaking, like for example, fish farming in a very controlled environment, mid-scale to large scale, is even going to cost you millions for you to start. But if you have this money, why not start and then over time be able to make money? That's the first business idea, modern farming approaches, okay? And then the second business idea which you could look to jump into and be able to make money is you doing beekeeping. I put beekeeping as standalone because beekeeping also has good benefits. For example, you could sell honey in the market. For example, could do value addition on products like, for example, soaps, candle, you name it. This could also be a viable option for you. And I'm saying so because it's gonna cost you maybe good amount of upfront cost to ensure your beehives are okay and in secure places. But beyond that, once you have an enabling environment, maybe good agricultural environment around you whereby you have flowers, we have water, undisturbed environment, things are going to be good for you, because over time, you could be able to see the scaling up of your undertaking. And the good thing is that through this particular kind of farming, it doesn't require for you to be active each and every day. You could, for example, be having another day-to-day undertaking and just be passing by there even multiple days a week to see how your bee farm is doing. And then over time, you can be able to make good amounts of profit too. And then the third business idea you could look to jump into is you starting a mid to large scale kind of store. We've all seen, for example, there are those traditional small scale shops in rural areas. But beyond that, also you're talking about rural population out there increasing and increasing over the years. Why not also target to jump into mid-sized to large scale kind of stores? It could be maybe things like, for example, supermarket or even mini supermarkets out there. It could be even, for example, a store which sells tools, kind of like a hardware store. It could be, for example, even a store for selling household items solely. It could even be, for example, a store for selling farming inputs, maybe an agrovet, whereby you sell some tools and even fertilizer, you name it. You can start a mid to large scale store, and also through that, you could possibly be able to make good amounts of money. Of course, for these, you also need to start in a rural area which has quite a good number of people. We have those regional centers in rural areas, marketplaces. You could target to start your business there, and then over time, be known for selling a given type of product in large scale, and be sure you can be able to make money through this particular approach. And then the fourth business idea you could look to jump into in a rural area and be able to make money is you also capitalizing on the internet. You, for example, starting a cyber cafe and then also merging this with even a mobile money transfer business. Cyber cafe combined with M-Pesa maybe. Guys, through that you can also be able to be in very big business. More so in case your business is in an area whereby it's a marketplace in a rural area. Be sure you can be able to be in a very big business, because the demand for internet services out there are on the rise. People out there are looking, for example, for cyber cafes to do browsing. People out there are, for example, looking for cyber cafes to do printing, scanning, maybe other digital services, like, for example, even KRA services, e-citizen services, you name it. You combine this with M-Pesa, for example, be sure you're going to be in a very, very formidable business, because you're going to be having day in, day out clientele who are going to be coming for different assortment of services through your cyber cafe or even mobile money transfer business. And be sure you can even be able to make profits upwards of 2K each and every day, depending on where you are in a rural area. And then the last business idea which you can look to jump into is you jumping on a service area. You jumping on a service area to provide a unique service. For example, hairdressing, for example, plumbing, for example, electric technician services, you name it. All these kind of services are in demand in rural area also. And be sure you can be able to make interesting amount of money by you also offering these service-focused kind of businesses. Of course, for this, it's going to require for you to be there face-to-face, because the kind of one-to-one engagement, but over time, you could even be able to build a team whereby you can also be withdrawing and then having your team going ahead to provide these services in different population or catchments in the rural area. What do you think about these 5 business ideas? I hope you've gotten one or two which are enticing and the kind of ideas you look to jump into for you to be able to make money, more so in case you work or even live in a rural areas. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to share with you guys other awesome videos next time. Bye bye, and you all take care.